Today we're diving into Season 3 Episode 5, titled On the Rocks. If you haven't caught up through Episode 4, hit pause now because there will be major spoilers ahead for what's already aired. For Episode 5, which drops tomorrow on Paramount+, we'll cover previews, teasers, and my predictions on what to expect. Let's get into it. Season 3 kicked off with Dwight Manfredi, played by the legendary Sylvester Stallone, facing new threats in Tulsa. After Season 2's chaos, Dwight's empire is expanding, but so are his enemies. Episode 1, Blood and Bourbon, introduced the Dunmire family as major antagonists, stealing Dwight's prized 50-year-old bourbon. In Episode 2, The 50, we saw Tyson messing up big time, leading to the heist. Episode 3, The G and the OG, ramped up the crew's efforts to track it down, with some redemption arcs kicking in. And Episode 4, Staring Down the Barrel? Phew, that was intense. Dwight and his team stage a brutal railyard standoff to recover the bourbon. Tyson gets a lead from Serenity, who turns out to be a spy, a classic twist. They muscle their way in, but it ends with Cole Dunmire's death. Meanwhile, Margaret pitches a fake dating plan to help Thresher's governor run, which Dwight's not thrilled about. Jeremiah Dunmire drops that ominous line, "The war is heating up." Now, for On the Rocks, previews suggest this one's going darker and more explosive. The big hook is the fallout from Cole's death. The Dunmires aren't letting that slide, expect Jeremiah to rally for revenge, putting Dwight's control on shaky ground. Alliances might dissolve. Who's really loyal in Dwight's crew? We could see betrayals from within, turning friends into foes. Old enemies might resurface too, bringing grudges or shady deals. On the political side, Margaret's scheme with Thresher could create jealousy or blowback for Dwight. And with Quiet Ray back in the mix from Episode 4, maybe he plays a bigger role. Overall, it's about escalating the underworld war, with Dwight making some brutal choices to hold onto his empire. Previews tease power shifts and dangerous confrontations. Can't wait. Dwight goes scorched earth on the Dunmires, but it backfires with law enforcement or internal leaks. Maybe Tyson's arc leads to more family drama. Margaret's plan? Total recipe for relationship tension. Dwight's territorial, remember? Could Thresher betray them post-election? And with the season halfway done, this episode might set up a mid-season twist, like a major alliance flip or another death. What do you think? Drop your theories in the comments. Episode 5 is anticipated to explore the immediate aftermath, with previews emphasizing a shift to darker, more volatile storytelling. Key anticipated elements include retaliation from Jeremiah Dunmire, who warns of an intensifying war, potentially leading to violent confrontations that test Dwight's grip on Tulsa. Betrayals are a central theme, as alliances within Dwight's circle may fracture, with not all members proving loyal amid mounting pressures. The return of old foes could introduce new grudges or opportunistic deals, complicating Dwight's strategies. Politically, Margaret's proposal to aid Thresher's campaign by posing as his partner introduces relational strain, given Dwight's possessiveness and Thresher's history as a rival. This subplot ties into broader power dynamics, where Thresher's potential governorship could benefit or endanger Dwight's empire, depending on loyalties. Character developments in Episode 5 are expected to deepen existing arcs. Dwight faces moral and tactical dilemmas, balancing aggression with vulnerability as enemies multiply. Tyson, seeking redemption after his heist involvement, may encounter further tests of loyalty. Margaret's independence drives her political maneuvering, but it risks alienating Dwight, highlighting themes of trust in relationships. The Dunmires, fueled by grief over Cole, represent old money privilege clashing with Dwight's street-smart mob ethos. Supporting characters like the crew and Serenity could pivot into betrayers or allies, adding unpredictability. If the premiere of Tulsa King Season 3 felt like a bit of a corrective to a lackluster second season, Episode 3 feels like it's proving a point and then some. We've already had tense sit-downs between Dwight and the new big bad, Jeremiah Dunmire. We've roped in almost every surviving character from the previous 2 seasons, and we're starting to genuinely imperil the core cast. Things are getting serious, they are already serious, and they're going to get even more serious very quickly. This is what you want from a show like Tulsa King. Taylor Sheridan can be prone to bouts of self-indulgent excess, and that sort of thing can derail a season. These tight episode runtimes don't provide much leeway, so I'd rather a bit less depth and build-up, especially since a lot of these relationships and dynamics have been developing for a while, and more head-on collisions. That seems to be the third season's guiding MO. Long may it continue. Before we unload the chaos of episode 4, let's rewind to that gut-punch ending of the G and the OG. Dwight's out here playing 4D chess with his new distillery empire, but things go sideways fast. Tyson's living his best life at Stroker's strip club, throwing stacks like it's nothing, but boom, Cole Dunmire's goons snatch him up. They drag him to some abandoned warehouse, and Cole's got him staring down the barrel of a shotgun, ready to paint the walls red for messing with the family business. Meanwhile, Dwight's on a creepy road trip with that shady Fed, Agent Musso, the guy with a personal grudge from Dwight's pre-prison days. They pull up to a sit-down with Jeremiah Dunmire, who's got his local muscle surrounding them like it's a bad western. Dwight ain't backing down from the distillery fight, but the feds are circling, and that secret 50-year bourbon stash. It just fell right into Dunmire's lap. Alright, episode 3, the G and the OG, was straight fire, literally. Dwight's bourbon empire is booming, but the Dunmire family's not having it. Tyson, our young gun, goes full spy mode on Cole Dunmire at Stroker's strip club, but gets snatched by Cole's crew. Blindfolded in a warehouse, staring down a shotgun, talk about tension. But plot armor activates, Mitch and body track him via phone, roll up in that bulletproof Cybertruck, Elon would be proud, and bust him out in a hail of bullets. Tyson escapes, but not without dropping a warning to Cole, war's on. Meanwhile, Dwight's playing diplomat with Jeremiah Dunmire, but Agent Musso, that Fed with a grudge from Dwight's old New York days, is stirring the pot. Cleo, fed up, straight up sets fire to Jeremiah's land as payback. And the kicker? Cole's goons raid Dwight's storage, swiping his secret bourbon stash. Dwight's left fuming, team tensions are high, and Musso's vendetta is bubbling. Meanwhile, Grace, Tyson and bodytail Cole Dunmire in the least possible of stealth vehicles, Tyson's Tesla Cybertruck. They follow Jeremiah's son to a warehouse, and when they follow him inside, they find a bingo game full of senior citizens. So they sit and play. Goody shows up mid-game. I thought we were about to get into something nefarious, Grace explains sheepishly, explaining her reason for calling him. Goody looks around for 2 seconds and clocks that Cole and his goons are running a scam. And he proves it by interfering with the age-old con so that Tyson wins. Cole is super mad, but he pays Tyson rather than make a huge scene in front of the marks, a clientele. Dwight's crew go to a strip club named Stroker's, side note, eye roll, after, and Tyson throws around so much cast that a dancer named Serenity takes him back to a private room. They talk about their individual futures. She's got dreams, you see, she just wants to get out of Tulsa. When their intimate moment is interrupted by Cole, who puts his gun to Tyson's head. Well, so much for that goldmine Dwight was sitting on. Theodore Montague's 50-year-old bourbon, the secret reserve that was supposed to make Manfredi millions, falls into Dunmire hands at the end of this week's Tulsa King. And the worst part about it? A member of Dwight's crew is responsible, though can you really blame him, given the circumstances? If you watched, you know what I'm talking about. And if you didn't, keep reading for the highlights of the G and the OG. Agent Musso contacts Dwight and says he's got a mission for him, and he'll send a car. Dwight dodges his suspicious sister's questions and gets in the ride when it arrives. It's a self-driving car, which freaks Dwight the fudge out to the point that he pulls his gun and tries to kill the driverless vehicle. Sounds weird, but it's quite funny. Musso knows about Quiet Ray, calling him the boss of bosses, but Dwight won't confirm anything. They wind up getting pulled over for speeding by a local cop, and when Musso's FBI credentials don't impress the guy, Dwight steps out of the car and works his charms on the officer. He makes up a story about how pathetic Musso's life is and why he was speeding. Musso watches the whole exchange from afar, by the way, and eventually Dwight schmoozes them right out of the ticket by promising the cop some Oklahoma City Thunder tickets. But what does Musso need Manfredi to do, anyway? There's a lowlife named Deacon. This guy is pure evil, Musso says, who works in a jewelry clock repair shop, and Musso needs Dwight to go in there and act like a mafioso to gain the man's trust for future operations. So he does. Later, on the way back, we get the sense that Musso's mission actually isn't officially sanctioned. Whatever is going on with Deacon, it's personal. At the end of the hour, Dwight is hanging out with Margaret when he gets a call from Goody. He immediately goes to the Montague property to find his wheelman battered and the bourbon stolen. "How bad are you, Tyson?" he asks, concerned. "I'll live," Tyson replies. "Dunmire won't," Dwight promises. Oh, and also of note, Armand's wife shows up at the distillery, frantic. He never showed up to see their kids, and now he's not picking up his phone. "My husband is missing," she cries. At the end of the hour, Dwight is hanging out with Margaret when he gets a call from Goody. He immediately goes to the Montague property to find his wheelman battered and the bourbon stolen. "How bad are you, Tyson?" he asks, concerned. "I'll live," Tyson replies. "Dunmire won't," Dwight promises. Jeremiah Dunmire and his Dixie Mafia son Cole are the new big bads, torching Dwight's allies like Theo in a warehouse blaze. Episode 2, The 50, dropped last Sunday. Dwight's scrambling for distribution on that rare 50-year-old bourbon stash, but Dunmire's hitting hard with threats. Tyson stepping up as the muscle, Manny's loyal as ever, and Tina's pressuring Dad to go straight. Cleo's reeling from her dad's death, vowing payback. Ends with sirens blaring as Dwight stares down Dunmire's goons, total powder keg. The official promo and trailers for episode 3 are fire, about 30 to 60 seconds each, packed with clues. I've watched them frame by frame, and here's the breakdown. Spoiler warning, this is based on official Paramount Plus promos and fan breakdowns as of October 2, 2025. No leaks, just legit teasers. Let's dissect. Things are heating up, that's for sure. Cut to Tyson warning, don't want to take us all out one by one. This ties straight to Dunmire's hits on Theo, Walton, and Mitch. Clue, Dunmire, well, so much for that goldmine Dwight was sitting on. Theodore Montague's 50-year-old bourbon, the secret reserve that was supposed to make Manfredi millions, falls into Dunmire hands at the end of this week's Tulsa King. And the worst part about it? A member of Dwight's crew is responsible, though can you really blame him, given the circumstances? If you watched, you know what I'm talking about. And if you didn't, keep reading for the highlights of the G and the OG. Agent Musso contacts Dwight and says he's got a mission for him, and he'll send a car. Dwight dodges his suspicious sister's questions and gets in the ride when it arrives. It's a self-driving car, which freaks Dwight the fudge out to the point that he pulls his gun and tries to kill the driverless vehicle. Sounds weird, but it's quite funny. Two will never resort to indecision or non-action. These types of characters are the bread and butter of Taylor Sheridan's slate of Paramount Plus series, and Dwight is easily among the most entertaining, right on par with Billy Bob Thornton's Tommy Norris in Landman. Dwight is also faced with more pressure from every angle than ever before in the Tulsa King Season 3 premiere. Although Chicky is gone, Quiet Ray looks to be double the threat that Chicky ever was, and Dunmire is truly terrifying, backed by a warped sense of divine providence and manifest destiny. Not to mention the persistent Musso watching Dwight's every move and the ongoing friction from Bevilacqua. That said, the upped scale and stakes don't take away from the more light-hearted moments rooted in the chemistry between Dwight's gang of misfits. Headland's Mitch has enough charisma to front his own Sheridan series, while Martin Starr's hilarious body reveals that he's got a dark side of his own that should not be tested. Spencer, played by Stallone's daughter Scarlett Rose, seems to be finding a bigger role in the series as well, still far away from the main action. Garrett Hedlund is given a bigger role than just a supporting character in Tulsa King Season 3, Episode 2. In fact, he's almost on the level of being a co-protagonist with Dwight, as evidenced by his new love interest, Cleo, and his bare-knuckles fight scene, placing him in the spotlight more than ever. The supporting gang of misfits in Tulsa King Season 3 still offers some of the lighter notes in the series, even if they come by less frequently. Dwight's sister, Joanne, is also getting more involved in the business, which makes for a better contribution than her weed store's baked goods in Season 2. That said, Dwight's daughter, Tina, may only be relevant as a vulnerability as the stakes continue to surge. This has always been a gangster show, but it's entering a much darker territory designed to drive adrenaline and tension that make it hard to continue calling it a feel-good dad show. Prime Video's Reacher follows a similar strategy with its third season, going darker and placing the protagonist in a heightened role, but it never loses a sense of the type of show protagonist, Dwight Manfredi, in an incredibly compromising position that jeopardizes all of his operations in Tulsa, Oklahoma, after his Kansas City rival turned business partner, Bill Bevilacqua, took out the relentless Chicky in the Tulsa King Season 2 finale. Dwight appeared to finally be going legit with his various businesses, including Body's weed shop and Mitch Keller's budding car dealership. That ship quickly sailed as he's pinned by FBI agent Musso, forced to do his bidding with a smile to avoid spending the rest of his life back in prison. A new Season 3 antagonist emerges in the form of the diabolical and self-righteous Jeremiah Dunmire, who shockingly has his longtime friend Theo Montague killed after Theo chose to accept Dwight's offer to buy his exceptional distillery. There's a chance that Theo may still be alive, but Dwight will undoubtedly be hunting down Dunmire moving forward, perhaps starting with his hot-headed son, Cole. The Tulsa King Season 3 premiere saw the return of several fan-favorite characters, including the overly eager Tyson, the sharpshooting Grace, the hilarious giant Bigfoot, Dwight's slick-talking sister Joanne, and Dwight's Season 2 love interest, Margaret. New Season 3 characters include a dangerous New York mafia boss known as Quiet Ray, who wants a piece of Tulsa, Cleo Montague, Mitch's old flame and Theo's daughter, and the upcoming arrival of Samuel L. Jackson's Nola King. Tulsa King Season 3's premiere raises the scale and UPS the stakes. The Tulsa King Season 3 premiere may feel a bit choppy at first, but it really does an excellent job of setting a solid foundation for the rest of the 9-episode season to build from. Just about every story and character aspect feels fully evolved, even though the whole of Tulsa King takes place over just a matter of months. The Tulsa King Season 3 premiere may feel a bit choppy at first, but it really does an excellent job of setting a solid foundation for the rest of the 9-episode season to build from. Just about every story and character aspect feels fully evolved, even though the whole of Tulsa King takes place over just a matter of months. Stallone is his usual powerhouse of masculine bravado and old-school charm in Tulsa King Season 3, embodying the true spirit of a tried and tested capo. His unwavering character makes for a great protagonist who will never resort to indecision or non-action. These types of characters are the bread and butter of Taylor Sheridan's slate of Paramount Plus series, and Dwight is easily among the most entertaining, right on par with Billy Bob Thornton's Tommy Norris in Landman. Dwight is also faced with more pressure from every angle than ever before in the Tulsa King Season 3 premiere. Although Chicky is gone, Quiet Ray looks to be double the threat that Chicky ever was, and Dunmire is truly terrifying, backed by a warped sense of divine providence and manifest destiny. Not to mention the persistent Musso watching Dwight's every move and the ongoing friction from Bevilacqua. That said, the upped scale and stakes don't take away from the more light-hearted moments rooted in the chemistry between Dwight's gang of misfits. Headland's Mitch has enough charisma to front his own Sheridan series, while Martin Starr's hilarious body reveals that he's got a dark side of his own that should not be tested. Spencer, played by Stallone's daughter Scarlett Rose, seems to be finding a bigger role in the series as well. Episode 2 ends with a visit from Jeremiah Dunmire at the casino. The latter berates Dwight about the Dunmires' deep ties and supposed culture of honor, and Jeremiah's personal code of honor, that Dwight supposedly interrupted. So given your intrusion, I am obligated to destroy everything you have built, and everyone you love, piece by piece, limb by limb, for my and my descendants' sake. Manfredi responds that when his people are threatened, I will snatch away your meaningless existence, and everything that you and your descendants built, and the thing is, I'm gonna have fun doing it. Dwight says Dunmire's there because he's scared. Your empire is in danger, Dunmire. I'm gonna take it from you. All of it, every bit. Then 10 more, then 20 more, on the back of what you and your kin built. Jeremiah leaves with a final threat, and the pair part as dedicated adversaries. Last season's antagonists found a way to stick around, even become reluctant partners. The only way this conflict ends is in blood. It may be this season or in a future one, but it's inevitable. Well, so much for that goldmine Dwight was sitting on. Theodore Montague's 50-year-old bourbon, the the secret reserve that was supposed to make Manfredi millions, falls into Dunmire hands at the end of this week's Tulsa King.